Hi everyone, welcome back to my channel. It has been a while. This year has been, well, you know what this year's been, I don't need to tell you. But I'm back and I've got a video to share with you today, which is all about my Australian best friend's wedding, which is this Saturday, and my bridesmaid's dress. I say disaster, it's not really a disaster, but there's been some last minute changes. My best friend Kartika was meant to get married in Vegas. They had this huge family trip planned to California and Vegas, and they were going to surprise their kids by getting married in Vegas while they were there. I was going to go and fly out and meet them there, and it was meant to be in the Neon Museum in Vegas, which is just one of my bucket list places to see. I'm obsessed with that place. So to go to my best friend's wedding in the Neon Museum in Vegas was just like a once in a lifetime moment. And then COVID happened and all of their plans got cancelled, but they decided they were going to go ahead and get married anyway. Halloween is her and her fiance's favourite day of the year, so they decided to have a Vegas glam wedding on Halloween right here in Canberra. So the best part of that was that I still got to make the dress that we had planned for Vegas. So the colour scheme for the wedding is kind of burgundy and blush pink and rose gold and navy blue. It's just, oh, it's so Kartika. It's just so beautiful. So a long time ago, we bought this amazing burgundy sequin fabric, which we've used to make her dress. So we've made it in two parts. We've made it as a corset and skirt. When it's together, it looks like a dress. We did this because Kartika's in the middle of a quite long weight loss journey at the minute, and corsets can't be altered. So this way I can take the sequins off the corset and reuse it, and I can alter the skirt, and at some point in the future I can revamp all this and make it fit her new shape once she's got through everything she's going through to get her health back on track and be the person she wants to be. So to go underneath the burgundy, we found this beautiful sort of dusty rose satin. So the top part is a full steel boned corset. It's got straps, and then I've appliqued or cut out the different shapes of the burgundy sequins and appliqued them onto the corset. And then we found a nice part that made just a beautiful little cap sleeve. And then we found some earrings with that lovely rose gold crystal in to put on the end. And then to stop the sequins rubbing under her arm, we've actually just appliqued some of the mesh from the edge of the fabric over there, which you can see, but it's better than having sequin rub. And once her arms are down, you don't really notice it at all. I guess I notice it because it's there, but no one else will notice. So that's the corset. And then the skirt is a long mermaid fishtail skirt with a navy blue petticoat underneath to fit with the colour scheme, and it's got a burgundy velvet waistband which does up at the back with a zip and a hook and eye, and then there's a little bow, velvet bow, that sits on the waistband. And when this is all together and that sits over the corset, it just looks like a dress. So it looks like a one piece, but like I said, it means we can alter it later on and she can wear it again because she didn't want to just wear it once. And then as a little finishing touch to go with it, I used some offcuts of the velvet and of the burgundy to make this little bag for her. So I am one of the bridesmaids. I had planned to re-wear the bridesmaid's dress that I wore for my English best friend's wedding 5 years ago because it fitted in with this colour scheme. But I didn't try it on until 2 weeks ago, and it doesn't fit me anymore. So I've had to find a plan for a bridesmaid's dress at the last minute and on a very limited budget. I knew I didn't have time to make something from scratch, so I ended up looking for a base dress that I could then vamp up to give me the Vegas glam sparkle that I need. And I found this chiffon dress from Boohoo. Yeah, it's a long chiffon dress in a kind of peachy rose gold kind of colour, so it fits in well with the colour scheme. and it's got this built-in chiffon cape. Now I love a cape, so this is perfect for me. I ordered it from the UK about a week and a half ago. I didn't realise Boohoo shipped from the UK, so I was having a bit of a panic that it wasn't going to arrive in time. But it arrived last night, and now I've got to add some bling to it to make it Vegas glam. It's Thursday evening and the wedding is this Saturday, so I've got a few hours tonight. I've got a hair appointment in the morning and a couple of hours after that. And then I've got maybe a couple of hours tomorrow evening after the wedding rehearsal and helping Kartika and Jim with the end of their setup. So I need to get going and get this ready for Vegas Glam dress code. To sparkle my dress up, I'm going to be using some things that I already had in the studio. So I've got lots of offcuts of this lovely sequin applique fabric. It's very similar to Kartika's fabric, but in silver. This is left over from a wedding dress that I made last year. Then I've also got some pale pink crystals. I've got some plain ones and some AB ones as well. And I've got each one in 3 different sizes. So I'm thinking, given the limited time, I'm going to concentrate adding this to the cape and the waist of the dress. I'll pop a link in the description to where I buy my crystals from, and I'll see if I can find this sequin fabric again. If it's still available, I'll put a link to where you can buy that as well. Okay, so I'm going to start working on the cape. So what I've done is I've marked the centre back of my neckline and the centre back of the cape with a pin. I've got my silver sequin fabric on my ironing board here, and I'm just going to start cutting out shapes and pinning them on where I want them to go. So I have finished cutting and pinning all of my sequin appliques on. They're pretty uneven and they need a lot more trimming as I do it, but it's given me the overall impression that I'm going to get. So I'll just tidy it up and even it up as I sew it. So this is the back of the cape. And I've got sequins going around the waist as well. So that's the back of the waist. I've just kept it really simple because it's going to be under the cape. And then at the front, I kept the line of the cape going up over the shoulders, and then I've got the sequins coming all the way around the waist, and then I've done this little sort of decorative panel in the centre front as well, which I think it gives a really nice balance with the shape here and then the shape there. Again, it's really uneven. I need to trim it and even it up and make sure it's symmetrical as I sew it, but I'm really happy with how this is looking. So next up, it's time to start stitching it into place. Okay, so I've moved onto my desk because it's going to be easiest to sew this flat. To sew it on, I'm going to be using a clear thread because you're going to see the stitching from the other side on the other side of the cape. What I'm going to do is I'm going to start at the centre back of the cape. I'm going to trim everything and then make sure everything's lined up. So I'm going to do the centre back and then sort of work outwards. So the first thing I need to do is just trim down this centre back piece. Just being really careful that I don't cut the chiffon underneath. Just using some small pointy scissors to do this. And because the sequins are on a mesh backing, you can cut pretty close to them without worrying about it fraying and having them fall off. So if you're looking for fabric to do this with, make sure it is on a mesh background so you can cut your shapes and your appliques out. Looks so much better already. Okay, so now I've got my first piece all cut out. I'm actually just going to unpin the bottom of these 2 for now, just to move them out of the way. And then I'm going to make sure this one's nice and central. So I've still got my centre back pin there. And I'm going to make sure it's sitting nice and flat as well. I'll just put a few more pins in to hold it. So that's my first piece all trimmed and pinned. So I'm going to stitch that piece into place first. To sew it on, I'm just using a single thread of the clear thread. I've got a knot in the end. I don't use a double because it's way too easy to get it caught around the sequins and get it knotted, and it just ends up really annoying. So I'm just using a single thread. So I'm going to start at the bottom and just put my needle in and then come back out and try and get my knot caught sort of in a sequin there. And then all I'm going to do is go in and out around the edge every centimetre or so to hold this in place, and it will get caught around sequins and you will get annoyed, but it is worth it when it's all done. See, it's already getting caught around all these bits and it gets caught around pins. So make sure you've got good light when you're doing it because it's really easy to get it caught and miss that you've got a loop of it caught around something. God, I probably should have pressed this before I did this, but never mind, I'll steam it afterwards. And now, because the thread's invisible, even though we can see the other side of the cape when it's being worn, the invisible thread means you don't have to be super careful with your stitches because no one will notice. And now I'm caught again. Alright, I'm just going to keep sewing around the edge like that. When I get back to the start, I'm going to knot it off. So then I'm going to work my way around the whole cape, just trimming each piece, making sure everything's even and symmetrical, and stitching it into place with my clear thread. It's pretty time consuming, but the effect is completely worth it. Okay, so I've now got all the sequin appliques sewn on, and this is how it's looking. It's taken me about 4.5 or 5 hours to trim and even up and hand stitch all those into place, and it's looking really pretty and really sparkly. You could leave it just like this if you want to, but I'm going to add some more crystals to it because the theme is Vegas, so I want even more sparkle on there. So I've got crystals in 2 colours. That's, I think it's light rose and light rose AB that I've got, and I've got each one in 3 sizes. I'm not sure which sizes I'll actually use, but I'll start and see what happens. So that's my crystals. I'm going to be sticking them on with E6000 Fabrifuge, and I'm going to be using my little wax pencil to pick them up. I buy my E6000 Fabrifuge in Lincraft, or you can get it online quite easily as well. And I bought the wax pencil from eBay. So I want to put the crystals sort of in the gaps between the silver shapes in the sequins and in these little gaps here as well. So I'm just going to take my Fabrifuge and put some little dots of it where I want the crystals to be. And then I'm going to take my wax pencil, and it picks up the crystal and then just deposits it, and the wax is sticky enough to pick it up, but the glue is more sticky, so it lets go of the crystal when you pop it into the Fabrifuge. So I'm going to use this biggest size and maybe the middle size that I've got, and just dot crystals through all of these gaps all the way around where I have the silver. Here is the finished dress with all my additional sparkles. You can see the weight of the sequins and the crystals on the cape. They just make it move really beautifully. Here's a closer up view of it. I've just got a few little pulls there. I think maybe I should have sewn that part on a mannequin instead of flat on the desk. So that's it, that's my finished dress. I'm really happy with how it turned out. I love how sparkly it is. I actually finished it the morning of the wedding. I ran out of time to put all the crystals on, so I got up really early and finished putting my crystals on and steamed it. The wedding itself was just beautiful. The day of the wedding, it was horrific weather. It was just chucking it down all day. So Kartika and Jim had to change their plans of getting married in a park to actually getting married in the marquee that they'd set up in their back garden for the reception. But it just worked out beautifully, and we had the most magical day. So the only thing that they missed out on the day really was getting good photos together. So they actually went out and had a photo shoot a week later. So they got their gorgeous photos together. Yeah, and there were some magical photos from on the day as well, and we all just had a brilliant time. Cool, well I hope you enjoyed watching my video talking about Kartika's dress and how I made that, seeing how I did my last minute upcycle for my bridesmaid's dress as well. I'll be back soon with some more videos. I've got a couple of burlesque costume series coming up, one for Cherry Bomb and another outfit I'm working on for Jazida. If you enjoy my videos, please consider supporting me over on Patreon. The link's in the description. Your support on Patreon will help me to continue to make videos and tutorials. Yeah, it's a time-consuming and expensive process. Thanks so much for watching. I'll be back soon with some new videos.